Hi, I'm Keith Robbins from the Thursday Nights Network. I'm here part of the UK Gaming Media Network, and I'm here with Sam Richards from Tweet RPG, just to talk about how Tweet RPG works, what it is, and what he is getting out of today's UK Expo. So, Sam, can you tell me about Tweet RPG?
Basically, Tweet RPG is a role-playing game on Twitter. It's like a create-your-own-adventure story, except that rather than having one person who shapes the narrative, anyone who's following can tweet in and say which option they want to be taken to take the story forwards. And then the option with the most amount of votes is the one that's chosen, and that's where the story goes.
Okay, so why do it through Twitter?
Basically, I like the idea of the fact that Twitter's kind of like almost like a massive open forum that anyone really can find out about you and get involved, as long as they, sort of someone points them in the right direction. And I like the fact that Twitter is quite scaled down. It's quite simple. I think, to be honest, with a really simple tool like that, there's countless ways that you can use it with maybe other sites like Facebook and things like that. They're a little bit more tailored towards what the creator wants you to do. Whereas Twitter, you can actually really, got 140 characters. What do you want to do with it?
Okay, so can you just tell me how this actually works?
Basically, the way it works is I would create a scenario. I pop a prologue on the Tweet RPG website, so you could read up and find out a little bit more of the background, the setting, and then there'd be kind of the initial stages of character creation, things like that. And then you get into the game. That you'd get story updates every day, and you'd have a choice with those story updates as to what happens in the story, and that would shape where the narrative goes, what happens to the character. There's also a very simple sort of battle system and stat tests and things, your RPG staples, which can add an element of risk and things like that, and for things to kind of more engaged players to get involved with as well.
Okay, so how do you see this developing?
But to be honest, I mean, I've done it for a couple of years now, so I've got the system kind of set. Through trial and error, we've worked out what things work and what things don't work, and that's been really shaped by the players as well. Because I've got loads of people that are veterans of gaming and GMs for a long time, and they'll bring in their insights and say to me, "Oh, you want to avoid that," or "Oh, have you thought of trying this?" But I mean, Tweet RPG itself will always be free. It will never be subscriptions, never be anything like that. I'd like there to be maybe premium products that are related to it. So maybe having stories that you can get involved with, which run just for you. So maybe you buy the use of a story, and then you get tweets asking what you want to do. You tweet back and forth. So you get an individual kind of almost like a game book experience on Twitter that you can pick up whenever you want to. Things like that. I mean, I'd also love to be able to do more collaborations with publishers and writers and things like that. So I've worked with Modiphius to create a Actum Cthulhu scenario, which we're currently editing into an actual scenario to go in their published works. And I'd love to do more things like that. I'd love to do sponsored adventures for people that want to promote products and things. So really, I mean, I'm just testing the waters and seeing what kind of things people are interested in.
Okay, so how easy is it for people to actually join into your games?
It is super simple. All you need to have is a Twitter account and an imagination, essentially. So sign up to Twitter, get on there, search for Tweet RPG, or the actual sort of Twitter handle is @TW33T_RPG. Follow that account to get all the updates, and then what you're looking for is the latest story update. And there's a hashtag I use for all of those updates, which is TRPGSU, so Tweet RPG Story Update. So that'll have all of the story updates. Find the current story update, you'll get all the different votes on there, choose which one you want, reply with a hashtag that relates to it, and you can pop in your flavour text, so people might say, "Oh, I've definitely got to choose this option, this is great," or they might narrate and say, "I step into the cave wielding my blazing fiery sword," or something like that. and then wait and see where the story goes from there.
Okay, so is it a family-orientated Tweet RPG?
I do have some rules within sort of like the way that it runs. I want it to be a family experience. I know that when you're going on Twitter, you're going online, you're opening yourself up to all sorts of different things. But I do say let's avoid any abusive language. Let's avoid any kind of swearing or anything like that if possible. And I like to keep it as open as possible. So this is a game for everyone. This is family friendly. This is outside of whatever your beliefs are or anything like that. It's all respected there. Fortunately, so far, the community that's gathered around the game has been people that are really friendly, really encouraging, support each other. I've seen friendships grow throughout people playing the game. I've not had no issues with trolls or anything like that. Maybe if it gets bigger, there might be potential for issues with that. I'm at about 1,000 followers now, but there's always the potential. But to be honest, even when I've had a couple of people say some pretty snide things towards me, the players have turned around and said, "Hang on a minute, this guy's doing something really nice for free. Leave him alone," sort of thing.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, how often do you start new storylines or anything like that?
Generally between maybe every 1 or 2 months. I try to give myself a little bit of a break every now and again, because when it takes an insane amount of time throughout a week, every day to run something like this. And when people have asked me, "Oh, can I get involved and do an adventure with you?" My response has always been, well, no. Firstly, because this is about promoting me from a selfish point of view, as sort of a writer, but also you need to really consider how much time this actually takes in terms of just doing the updates, responding to everyone's tweets, planning out what the different story options are going to be, all those types of things. But however, for the player, I mean, they can just do a couple of tweets and get involved. So there's generally either 1 or 2 story options a day, and the adventures generally run between a month and a half, maybe sometimes up to 2 months.
Okay, that's really good. So, if you're doing a new RPG every single couple of months, do you update every single day on Twitter?
Yes, every day. Apart from weekends, there'll be a vote every day of the week. Sometimes I might have to put in some gaps. Like, for example, it's bank holiday. I'm not going to do any work on bank holiday, so the current story option will stay open till Tuesday. But yeah, that will be coming every day. So yeah, it can be quite intensive to run, but hence why I need a bit of a break every now and again.
So, tell me about the current adventure, what you're currently going through.
The current adventure is a story called Rough Riffs. It's inspired by Scott Pilgrim. It's sort of a tongue-in-cheek action rock music-oriented adventure. You play a guitarist called Jessie St. Ernestine. She's an amazing guitarist. She can destroy monsters with just a solo, and you use your guitar skills as kind of like your stats and things like that. So the start of the adventure was everyone build a guitar setup. Say, I'll have a Gibson Les Paul with some delay and distortion, and that gives you these stats and these effects and things like that. And they get thrown into the game whenever you reach 0 HP. You get a new stat you get a new guitar setup thrown into the game. There'll also be some consequences if you're getting beaten in battle. You're not going to get away scot-free. But and the current story is that Jesse's father has been kidnapped by an evil record executive, and he brainwashed him and using him to create horrible pop music. And so she's got to get together a band of musicians who are going to help her win back her father. So currently she's looking to find a bassist to complete her lineup and then go and get ready to do the musical onslaught.
That sounds really cool. So, how have you found the con? How's it been received here this weekend?
It's been fantastic. For me, I mean, I think the thing with Twitter is that, yes, it's great to get involved with people and get in touch with people that way, but actually face-to-face interactions, build so much more of a connection. And I think the people that I've talked to and have got involved this weekend, there'll be more chance of them hanging on and joining in because they've got that kind of connection with me. So it's great to, get off the screen, get off of digital and bring it into kind of real life. And it's also just a great opportunity to meet all different types of people that like games. I mean, that's the one thing I've really enjoyed, is that it's not just your stereotypical geeky RPG fan. Everyone's here. The families, friends, young, old, all sorts of different people are here at the expo to find out about games, and why not share it with everyone?
Okay, so thank you very much for the interview. It's been very, very interesting. Best of luck. Can you just tell us again what the site is and the contact details? So it's Tweet RPG. On Twitter, you're looking for at TW33T_RPG. Tweet RPG was already taken, so I had to go for a slightly different one. And the website is www.tweetrpg.co.uk. Okay, Sam, well, thank you very much for the interview this morning, and best of luck with the site.